Hey, fantastic. Welcome, actors, to On Screen with Casey and Donna-Marie. It's your free acting class. So every week,
Absolutely.
I give you mindset and audition tools so that you can walk in ready to book that life-changing role.
So, welcome. I'm Casey, and that's Donna-Marie. And here's what you're walking away with today: how to turn even the hardest experiences into fuel for your art, why emotional change is the secret to auditions that feel alive, and the hidden power of archetypes and how I figured that out, and how they give you an edge before you even walk in the room.
Absolutely. And a few personal, funny, and maybe slightly embarrassing stories from Casey's journey through the way. And I wouldn't even say embarrassing, I would say touching and a little heartwarming, really, to be honest. So I want to welcome you all back to On Screen today. So today I get to turn the tables and interview Casey. As you know, last week Casey interviewed me. And today I want to really dig into her process and the secrets that have helped so many actors go from nervous auditioners to confident working professionals. And in
Hmm.
many cases, leads in the number one shows in the world, right? So, Casey,
Hmm.
when we talk about the work that we do together, right? You often say that your childhood shaped the way that you see people and characters. So, can you kind of take us back to those early years and how they influenced you?
I absolutely can. Yeah, of course. So I grew up in chaos. My mom struggled with mental illness and was abusive, physically and mentally abusive to me. So home never felt safe to me, and movies became my escape, like for a lot of actors. And they were not just entertainment for me, but survival. So I watched The Wizard of Oz over and over and over again. And I felt just like Dorothy because at school I never fit in. And so what I would do is I felt behind a glass wall, kind of. And so I would watch the other students, the kids, and I felt like I was decoding a foreign language. Like, why did they laugh like that? Or why are they looking over there? They were real people. I was the observer. And that deep habit of observation is a muscle that I now use in coaching. And it started way back then.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful, Casey. I know you and I have talked about this a
Mm-hmm.
lot. From such a young age, you were already studying human behavior like an
Yeah.
actor, right?
Yeah.
And when we've talked about it, you've often said to me that you carried something else with you from your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's the belief that you were lucky,
Yeah.
that you were lucky. And
Yeah.
where did that belief start? Where did it start and how has it guided you through those really tough moments in life?
Well, when I was 8, my brother and I had some de facto foster parents, Tony and Mei Lee. They were a Chinese couple. They were the only Chinese couple in our small northern town. So they really stood out to me. And when I met them, I was wearing a red dress. And they told me that an 8-year-old girl in a red dress is very lucky. And I felt lucky for the first time in my life. They said, "You are a very lucky girl." And because 8 and red are lucky in Chinese culture, I suddenly understood that I was lucky. And I will say that they were, Tony and Mei Lee, they were the best people I have ever met, bar none. And I am forever biased to love Chinese people. And their kindness and that single sentence stayed with me through much abuse. And I lived on the highway of tears. So I lost friends, unfortunately, who were killed, and friends who committed suicide. And even when I myself was badly injured, I was thrown 50 feet in a car accident and all of my bones were broken. I was paralyzed. But the other people died. I didn't. And I kept repeating it to myself. I'm lucky. I'm a very lucky girl. And
Yeah.
as I got older, when things were unbearable, and often they were, I would turn to art. Of course, the movies, but also I'd play Elton John's Goodbye to Yellow Brick Road on repeat. And I would imagine that I could escape my life. There was another world waiting for me. And I still loved The Wizard of Oz so much because it was about that same thing. Even when I was a teenager, I was leaving a broken place. I was finding courage. I was discovering a place that I could call home. And so those songs and stories, they weren't just songs and stories, they were oxygen for my soul.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you've painted a really vivid picture, and I feel like a lot of you can probably relate, like we've been there, right? So you weren't just watching or listening, you were surviving through
Yeah.
art, and that's what brings a lot of us here, right? And that understanding of emotional survival really shows up in your coaching. I see it all of the time. I have to tell you, Casey, I think it's incredible. So you've
Thank you.
been well, it's true. It's just honest. So you've been through things that really could have broken you and would have broken most people. And I would love to know, how did those experiences shape the way that you approach storytelling and acting?
Mm, that is a really good question. When you've lived through trauma, you know emotions don't move in straight lines. So one minute you're terrified, and the next minute you're laughing because you survived. And then there's the guilt and the resolution. Okay, I'm going to be okay. And then the laughter again because life is bizarre. And that's what I teach actors, that auditions need those emotional changes, the layers, the nuance,
Mhm.
not one note. One emotion doesn't feel true, but change does, because that's what life is like.
Yeah, 100%. I think that makes so much sense. So
Thank
survival
you.
itself is like almost an emotional change, right? Like that's exactly what we do. I completely, completely agree, Casey. So I know that then you found yourself in LA, right? We're
Yes.
surviving something very different. So you land in LA, and your first acting teacher is Jeff Goldblum, who we all know. So please tell us, like, what was that like?
Well, that was surreal. I had just moved to LA. I didn't really know a soul. I had one phone number. And somehow I end up in Jeff Goldblum's class. That's a long story, but just know I got there. It was a bizarre story. And he is electric. I'm sure if you know his work, you can imagine what he's like. He's very playful, very alive, very unpredictable. And he taught us, find your voice, stay present and connected, embrace the moment. And one of the things that is very important is be interested to be interesting.
Yeah,
So if
that's
you
something you speak about all the time, right? And it makes so much sense. Yeah.
totally, yeah, and you see it in him in interviews. When he's being interviewed, he's always interested, right? And the key thing that he taught that I'd already learned in my young life that really landed was to learn from observation. He used to say that all the time. And he taught us that acting wasn't about showing, it was about being present enough to surprise yourself and be surprised. And that just cracked not only acting, but my life wide open. It
Yeah.
was such a powerful insight, I think.
I mean, I can only imagine, Casey, but so From surviving childhood, as you've talked to us about, to suddenly standing in Jeff Goldblum's class. Now that's a leap, right? That's a real leap. But
Yeah,
LA wasn't just about training. So
no.
you were suddenly inside Hollywood circles too, right? So can you share a little story with us about that?
Yes. I cannot tell you, but I'm sure you can imagine how surreal this was. But my first week in LA, I had this friend, Reinhardt. He was an editor, the one person I knew, the one phone number I had. So he was an editor, and he invites me to this wrap party in Beverly Hills. I did not know anyone, obviously. And true to form, I kind of sat alone and I was watching people and feeling very awkward and out of place and like I didn't belong. And then this lawyer for the film, his name was Bob Weinberg. I used to call him Weinberg and I loved him to death. I still do. He came over and he said, I don't know any of these people either. Can I sit with you? And we became really close friends. And through him, I met this array of people that you just won't believe, like Nicolas Cage, the Go-Go's, Devo. I don't know if you know the song Whip It, but that was a huge band at the time. And Crispin Glover, Johnny Depp before he was famous. He was still in LA. And then that in on its own was incredible. But then there was the Fish Called Wanda premiere. So that was a movie that was coming out at that time. It was a great movie. So Weinberg calls and he says, do you want to see a movie? So I'm thinking, yeah, that would be great. So I had just tie-dyed some sweats. So I was wearing my tie-dyed sweats. And it turned out that the premiere was at the Beverly Hills Academy Theater. And I thought it was the first time you go see a film. I didn't know that there were going to be spotlights and cameras and Entertainment Tonight and stars everywhere. And I'm standing there in my tie-dyed sweats, hoping that the earth would swallow me up because
I
I was,
feel you. Like I can literally feel it.
oh, I was humiliated. I was still, now I can feel it in my stomach. I was just so,
Like you
oh,
think you're going to the movie theater to watch a movie and you're showing up in tie-dyed sweats at a premiere for a
yeah,
fish. I kind of want to
yeah,
die now, but I
yeah.
love
It was awful. And I'm standing there and um, people are looking at me. And John Cleese comes over to me. So John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline, they were the stars of Fish Called Wanda. So they were all there. And John Cleese comes over to me and he sees how embarrassed I am. And he whispers to me, anyone could make that mistake. And
oh,
in his
so
John
you
Cleese,
love them.
oh, I just loved him so much. And the kindness, it just meant everything. I mean, not all the stress went away, but a lot of the stress went away. And it was it was a beautiful moment. And at the time, I was still a little soft from my car accident. So I have paralysis on my left side. I still have it. It just comes and goes. It's not bad all the time. But that night it was really bad because I think because I was stressed.
Probably,
And
yeah.
so people were kind of noticing me, like remembering me, and they would be kind to me. Jamie Lee Curtis was very kind to me. They made me feel at home. And it
Yeah.
was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. And also like I mean I know this about you, so maybe I'm putting words into your mouth, but I'll ask this question. But I know you don't drink, you don't do drugs.
Oh,
So and then you have this paralysis. So was that even something that made you I'm not saying everyone in Hollywood drinks and does drugs, but I'm just saying
yeah, it was. I mean, every time we go to a party, like I we were going to a party. It was called Mondo LA, and these big parties. They were like precursors to raves, and
Mondo means world in Spanish. I don't know if you know. Oh, well,
I did,
moon.
yeah, I had a feeling that that's what it meant, but I wasn't sure. And anyway, long story short, I could have looked it up, I guess. But Gina Shock, who's the drummers from the Go Go's, she was she was making fun of me. She was like, wanting me to try nitrous oxide, which is this, it's a like what you get when you go to the dentist,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
makes you feel, yeah. And she's making fun of me and laughing gas, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I should do drugs, but I just can't.
yeah.
I never wanted to lose control, but it was one of those moments where I was like, so people talked about me. I was like the uptight girl from Canada kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I got to be kind of known.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's incredible in more ways than one. So Casey and I are very we're very different in a lot of ways, but we're very the same in that way. We're the anti-drug.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even drink alcohol. It's just I don't want to lose control.
Yeah, I mean that I do. I do love a glass of wine, so I can't say that. But I think honestly, Casey, it's just incredible. So you've gone from tie-dye sweats on a red carpet to John Cleese whispering reassurances to you. And even as you were in those rooms, you were also learning story from the
Mhm.
inside out, right? So
Yeah.
I know, which I'm sure many people don't, that you worked as an editor. So how
Yeah.
did that change your understanding of story and auditions, really? How did that change things for you?
Well, it was interesting. The guy who had introduced me to Weinberg, Reinhardt Schreiner, who was the editor, he gave me a job assisting him at first. So, and then he let me do little jobs. So, editing was like graduate school for storytelling. So, you're in this dark room, and this was back when we used actual film. That's,
Mhm.
it was like actual film. So, you take these little pieces of film and you put them in this little closet and you label them and all that kind of stuff because you cut them out and put them there, all that kind of stuff. So, we're cutting the film together. And what I'm learning is every story needs a hook, every story needs an emotional shift. And every story needs a strong ending to make you remember it.
Yeah, totally.
And that is the secret, right? And auditions are the same. So if an actor doesn't have that arc, if you don't give me that arc, I'm going to tune out. And it's the same for casting directors. Editing, it gave me x-ray vision. Like I could see the structure inside every single performance and story. And I learned how important story and performance were to marry them together. So
Yeah,
it was profound. I was lucky,
I
very
think
lucky.
it's so cool. Like, honestly, everything that we do in life contributes to where we are now and what we have to give, right? I find that absolutely fascinating. Sometimes people will say like, "Oh, I had this, menial job doing this or this menial job doing that." No. And then you realize, yeah, Shakti's saying I agree with you, Donna-Marie, 100%. You realize that little thing, it could be, and I am not saying waiting tables is small. I've waited tables for years. I was a bartender for 10 years. Like I've done a lot of things, right? But those things, you glean so much from it if you're willing to look,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's so, so important. And so editing really, what you got from that was it prepared you for coaching, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just the craft, it was the people who believed in you, right? That shifted your path. Because I mean, I'm sure you've had mentors who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself, so how did that change your path? I would
Well, this
love
is making me very
to.
emotional.
Well, because I mean, and I don't mean to be funny, like, but that's what we do for people. When people don't believe in themselves, we believe in them for them, right? And we try and alter that path. But I'm sure you've had someone like that for you, right? I know I have.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
and I don't mean to make you cry, but how did that change your path, Casey?
It's it. I want to address what something Brian wrote saying that I saw incredible performances on the floor because they didn't feel the story. Like I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. And I often think about how there's one in particular that I think about all the time. And I think, if that would have been seen, that could have changed the direction of that woman's career. But it didn't fit the story. And that was huge. But yes, I had incredible mentors, and Donna-Marie knows about this mentor, Weinberg, that you're all getting to know about him now too. He was incredible for me because he really believed in me. He was one of the most important and intelligent people I have ever met. And I was at his house getting ready for a party, and this time I was wearing the right clothes. And the party's going to make it sound like, what clothes were you wearing? It was a party for the guy who owned Hustler magazine, Larry Flint. And so, but I was wearing nice clothes.
You were
um,
wearing clothes at least,
I was
right?
wearing clothes, yeah. Weinberg did the legal stuff for Hustler and Hustler magazine, but all the magazines. So there's Tennis magazine. There's a whole bunch of magazines that Larry Flint owned. And as we're getting ready, he said to me, "You're smart, but you're broken." And that was horrible to hear. But I knew it was true. I knew at least the broken part was true. I didn't really believe the smart part at the time. And he said, if you stay here, you're going to get into trouble. Um, this is something I rarely talk about, but Larry Flint, he liked me. And that it was, there was a lot of enthusiasm about me. And I could have gotten into trouble, but I didn't. He said, you need an education. And Weinberg had gone to Yale. And he said, you're smart enough to go to Yale. And the idea that I could go and be accepted anywhere near Yale, it broke me. And we went to the party, and I could tell you some stories, but I won't. But right away, nearly right away, a week later, I went back to Canada, and I went to school and I studied philosophy and human behavior. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't just reacting and surviving, I was building something.
Yeah, so it turned you it's quite a right. I'm gonna say something here that my dad always told me is once you say it, you could never ever take it back. So be
Yeah.
careful with your words, right? And what
Mhm.
that gentleman did for you was gave you some good words, gave you some
Yeah.
really good words because that moment turned you back now towards education. He could have said a whole lot
Yeah.
of different. You were obviously, I shouldn't say obviously because I don't know, I'm inferring there, but it seems to me that you were quite susceptible in that moment. You were young,
Yeah.
had a lot going on, but that gentleman gave you some good words, right? And that's
Yeah.
now turned you back towards your education, right? But it actually, the turning point into coaching came a little bit later, right? So
Yeah.
so it turned you into education, but then the coaching came later. And I know from what we've spoken about, it was kind of almost by accident, right? So at what point did you realize that coaching, because we all know it's your true calling. So at what point did you realize that that was it for you?
Well, it was really by fluke. It was this guy I met. he I think he thought I was cute, and he invited me to his acting class. And I don't remember who he was. Um, but I loved the class, and I decided to go to acting school. So by philosophy, by human behavior, hello, acting school. And very soon in class, people would ask me to run lines for auditions. And then they would book the roles. And some of you know this story. They would book the roles. And then one day, this girl gives me $20. And she said, this is for coaching. And I was like, what? And that $20 changed everything, because I thought suddenly, oh, this is it. This is a legit job. I can
Yeah,
get paid for this. This is what I meant to do, and I love it.
it's
You
honestly
know?
would have thought $20 could change everything, but literally, as they say, every penny counts, right? So
Yeah.
it's quite incredible, Casey. To be fair, it really, really is. So I know that one of your biggest breakthroughs as a new coach was recognizing archetypes in scripts, right? I know this has changed a lot of things for you and your actors. So can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yes, I can. It was Almost Famous. So there's a movie called Almost Famous. Some of you
I
might know
love
it.
it.
It's an
It's one
excellent
of my
movie.
favorites. So when
Yeah, Cameron Crowe was.
Almost Famous, I didn't think I was going to work with the woman who coached Almost Famous, but here you go.
Yeah, it was. Oh, well, I coached one actor in Almost Famous,
Well, there you go.
and so my client was auditioning, and I was reading the script. So it was written by Cameron Crowe, who's a brilliant writer. He also wrote Jerry Maguire and other films. And as I'm reading the films, I'm realizing the whole thing is built on archetypes. And once I saw that, I couldn't let it go as with a dog with a bone. I saw that archetypes are the DNA of every script. And this is an absolutely full circle moment because in LA, I met Maxine, who was unforgettable, glamorous, larger than life. She took me into her world. Trips on private planes, living in New York and Beverly Hills, rooms with extraordinary people, the people you know by their first names. And then she told me stories. And these stories really, they were life changing for me. And one of them was she was married to Bernie Taupin. And Bernie Taupin is Elton John's songwriter. He wrote, oh, just a minute, Goodbye to Yellow Brick Road, the song that had saved me. It was surreal to meet someone who lived inside that song that kept me alive. And later, I learned the lead female character in Almost Famous was based on Maxine, who believed in me as much as Weinberg, as much as anyone else. And that's when it really clicked. Archetypes aren't abstract, they are real and they live in us. They live in people like Maxine. And I knew that if the actors I coach could tap into that, they'd walk into auditions with a power that no one else had because no one else was even paying attention.
Right.
And that's what years of poverty and abuse had given me. That is where my luck is because I was watching, I was paying attention. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
it's extraordinary, really,
Yeah.
Casey. But you are gonna make me cry, and I've done my makeup and I've got new hair, so don't mess with that today. But it really is extraordinary because you went from listening to Elton John to being mentored by someone who helped inspire Almost Famous as you were coaching an actor in that show. And it's full circle, right? It
Yes.
really is full circle. And I would, I'm sorry, I'm quite emotional because I love you to bits. And there's a lot of things I'm thinking of that are not being said. So I'm going to ask you, after everything that you've lived, after everything we've talked about today, and this is a quick synopsis because we got 30 minutes, um, what would be the mantra that you'd like every actor to carry with them?
Um, well, it was surreal. It is surreal even now as I think about it. And it was really magic. And it continues to be magic. And what I've learned is life is just full of magic and that you are one audition away from a life-changing booking. But the key is the thing that I've learned is my whole life has been proof that preparation and luck collide when you least expect it. And that it might not seem like it, it might seem very terrible, but your moment is coming. And the only question is, are you prepared? And will you be ready?
Yeah. And that is it, right, Casey? And that's the whole reason that we created Audition Plus, is we
Yeah,
know that our actors will be ready, right? That's the purpose behind that course.
it
Right?
is. I just
That's
want to mention something too. I think this is what makes me a little bit nuts because I know what it is. I know I can see it because I've looked at people, actors, so much. So when I look at you and I see it, I'm like, I need to coach that actor, which can make maybe me seem a little bit weird.
seem a little nuts. Sometimes you're a little high strung. It's okay. We don't mind.
But yeah, that's what it is. It's just that knowing. I've been there. I've seen it so many times, so I see the potential in you.
Yeah. Honestly, Casey, I see. I can't even say the work that you do every day. I can't find a strong enough word to say magic. I guess I should say I see the magic that you do every day with actors. And man, it's beautiful.
It is.
The way you help them see themselves. I think that's almost the most beautiful thing. I don't think this is totally going off script, but I don't think people realize that acting is the study of human behavior. I don't think a lot of people, I know before I worked with actors, as you all know, I was a dancer, and I just thought y'all learned lines. But it is completely the study of human behavior and the magic that you work and the way that you get them to see themselves. I just think is beautiful. I really, really do. So, Casey, I want to thank you honestly for being so open. And I know some of that stuff was tough, but for just sharing your life and your process with us. And I know that the actors watching this are, well, I hope that they're going to walk away with a little bit more clarity and a few more
Mhm.
tools that they can use right away. I really do. So I hope you understand what it takes, actually. And if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to go deeper, and if you'd love to coach with Casey and I, this is exactly what we work on inside Audition Plus. So if you would like to join us, we would love to have you because to be completely honest, well, it's not even to be complete. Yeah, it is. Your next could be the one that changes everything, right? Your next audition is waiting for you, and that could be the life-changing role. So I'm going to pop
Yeah.
the link in for Audition Plus for all of you, and we can't wait to work with you. Laura says, thank you so much for all you put into this. It's an honor to be coached by you too. Oh, Laura, it's an honor to coach you. You're just a lovely human being, and that's what we are all about, right? So it's wonderful, and you're an incredible actor and growing every single day, and we'd love to see that. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I know we've gone a little bit over. Casey, I'm going to pop that link in one more time. If anybody would like to join us, you will have to fill out a questionnaire. There's a little bit of a we need to make sure we have the right people for this community because the community is a huge part of it. Amber, you're so welcome. Amber says, thank you, Casey and Donna Marie. You
Well,
are
thank
so, so welcome. And Virginia says this was really amazing. It's absolutely our pleasure. So I'm popping that link in, and then I think, Casey, we're going to say that's a wrap. What do you think?
I think so.
All right. Well, so
That's
you've
a wrap.
heard all about my life and all about Casey's. So, hey, you know what? We're here for comments too. If you got anything to say, go ahead and message it. We would love to hear it. What do you
Oh,
think?
oh yeah. If anybody has any questions, absolutely. Is that what you mean?
No, I just mean they've heard about your upbringing and my upbringing. So if they have anything to say, they're more than welcome to message us or post it on
Oh,
the chat, and we would be happy to answer any questions. Brian says, thanks for revealing a bit of the story behind the past that have brought you both to this point. It gives perspective on your approach. Oh, you're so welcome, Brian. We love it. We love all you guys. Shauna says, live, love, act. Oh, yeah, you're so welcome. Listen, I think it's really important to understand that we're all human. We're not perfect. You- there's a lot that goes into this. We live, we grow, we pass that on. Shakti says, we love you, Casey and Donna-Marie. And we love you, Shakti. We really, really do. Most of us are human. We're all human, Brian, whether you like it or not. All right, you guys. Well, Casey, I've popped that in one more time, and then I can say that's a wrap for us. What do you think?
I think that's it. I think I'll see you on screen.
Okay, see you on screen. Bye.